Welcome back to another episode of the Real Podcast of Dallas. The little podcast that could. The little podcast that's traveling worldwide. You can hear us in many places. You can hear us in Poland. You can hear us in... Where else can they hear us? Maria, Cindy, how are y'all?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
Awesome. They can hear us all over the place. They can hear us in Chile, Argentina,
Russia,
Germany,
Italy. You just plug it. You look for a little podcast that could. No, it's actually the Real Podcast of Dallas.
the little podcast of Dallas. That's true.
I'm gonna change it. The little podcast that could from Dallas, Texas. Yes. How are y'all?
I'm ready to move on to Tuesday.
Yeah, because it's
Me too.
Today's Monday, right?
Today's Monday.
Yes.
And then, it's a little chilly outside today for some reason. I don't know.
Weird, huh?
Yes.
Very weird.
Yes. And
Very weird because this is what, May 10th?
Yes.
Oh, May 10th. Yes.
It's funny because the microphones have gotten real sensitive. And we never paid attention before. And now it's like, be careful.
They're delicate.
Yeah. Yes, so how can they find us, Maria? How can they find this little podcast that is just puttering along?
It is so super cool because all you have to do is do your Google search,
Yes.
The Real Podcast of Dallas, and it will populate for you. It'll give you access to our Facebook account, The Real Podcast of Dallas, and if you go into that Facebook account, you have access to each and every one of the episodes that we have recorded so far.
We have how many episodes?
I want to say it's 37.
37. I thought 38.
Maybe it is 38.
Yeah, we're getting up there. We're going to one day not remember. We're going to be 1,400 and...
One day we will. Yes, we will. It might be 38 because we did record 2 last week.
Yes.
So this might be number 39 then.
39.
We're so close to 40.
Almost
Wow.
40. Yes.
Wow. But anyways, I was telling you, Google The Real Podcast of Dallas.
Yes.
It will give you access to the Facebook page, and it will also give you links to our Spreaker account. It will also give you links to the YouTube account, which is awesome because all you have to do is just click on those links and it'll take you straight to the podcast.
Yes,
so you can start listening.
Subscribe, share.
And if you go on Facebook, make sure you follow us and
like us.
do the likes. Yes.
Yes. And they can do it through all other venues. I was gonna bring a list and I forgot to show you where they can find us.
Because new places, like new platforms are actually we're reaching out to new platforms that we weren't aware of, because I know you shared one with me and I'm like, what is this one? I did not know.
If you Google it, you'll find us on different platforms. Now we had named it The Real.
Yes.
We had named it The Real,
so
you'll find it under The Real. Yeah.
Yes, if you go into Spotify, it'll be The Real. But what's really cool is that if you do The Real Podcast of Dallas, it just gives you those links.
Yes. So it's exciting.
Yes, it is.
It's very exciting, Cindy. This is
very,
exciting moments in the history of our times. We're making waves.
The history of Leo's 15 years here.
Yes.
And
15, right?
my 25.
You're 25, yes. And Maria's...
I don't even know. I lose track of time. Like I don't
6, 7.
It might be. I think it's 8.
Oh.
I think it's 8. Yeah. Yes.
It's still good. 8 years is good. 8 years is good. And, again, we'll talk a little bit about the podcast because there's a lot of people who it's not going to work. And we're getting out there. We have almost 1,000 downloads.
We do. We're so close to those 1,000 downloads. And that is very exciting because I think when we first started, we were so focused on just reaching 100. For the longest time, we will get to 100. Sooner or later, we'll get to 100. And to hear Leo say that we're so close to 1,000, I'm like, what? How did that happen? How did we get to 1,000?
Yeah, how does that happen?
Right.
How does that happen?
I don't know. They need to share it with us.
And what happens is...
How it happened.
It's good content. People like this. It's your first drug-free podcast. It's your first positive podcast ever.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if it's ever. I like to say that because that brings you in like, yeah, and it might be more, but ours is the best. Doesn't it make you mad when you pull up the Real Podcast of Dallas and other people's come up?
Piggybacking on ours? What? I will say.
Have you done that, Cindy?
I haven't listened to anyone else's.
Well, I don't listen to them, but they'll come up. And they'll kind of get you. They're like the I won't mention their names.
Yes, but I will say that's why I'm so proud to be able to say, just Google the Real Podcast of Dallas. Because I couldn't say that before.
No.
I couldn't say that before because I didn't have that complete confidence that they would understand which one we were from the ones that pull up. But now I am 100% certain that if you Google the Real Podcast of Dallas,
we'll come up.
We're the first ones. We are up there.
Yes.
On very top of the list.
We're making waves.
Well, I have ideas for the podcast, and so I think we all do, and it's just going to get better.
Yes. So when we hit 1,000, we were supposed to celebrate at 100. We said, well, honestly, I'm going to tell you what I thought.
One taco for 100.
Yeah, no, I'm going to tell you what I thought. I honestly thought that we'd have maybe 60 or 80 downloads by now.
By this time?
Mm-hmm. Because I wasn't really... I was thinking the kids we work with. I was thinking teachers maybe. But little did I know that once it gets out there, a lot more people pick it up. A lot more people listen to it, and they get curious.
They do get curious. And then the other thing, too, is that our the first one we created was back in December.
Yes.
We started talking about creating podcasts back in March, early April, after the lockdown, and then we didn't actually move forward with it until December.
Yes.
So we haven't really been out here for
very long.
For very long.
Yeah, it's only been 5 months.
Yes.
So we're moving along.
And we're very proud.
Yeah, we're very proud
Absolutely.
of it. Yes. So we're going to keep making them. We're going to keep churning them out because there's always content. There's always something to talk about. Eventually, like to do it live where people can actually communicate with us live. That'll happen.
We want to get more youth on speaking.
Yes, we do. And thank you so much for reminding me. I need parent consent forms before I leave today. Because we have kids that are interested, and so I need to show back over there with some parent consent forms to ensure that
to invite people up here.
They're able to come in and be part of this podcast because youth has so much to share too.
They do
so much.
And we want this to be a platform where people can communicate too, because with the Mother's Day, which was outstanding podcast, if you haven't listened to it, shame on you. But listen to the Mother's Day podcast that we did, and having people call in and leave those messages. That was really outstanding, and we should do more of that. And we can do those for the military.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Get those messages out, and if you're trying to communicate with somebody you haven't to in a long time, make a request, and we can do that for you.
Yes, make a request, and you're able to send messages not only through that Facebook account, but you can also submit messages even through the YouTube account. You can do it through the Spreaker, through the Spotify. There's a space for you to leave your comments, and any information that comes through from there, we will happily use it.
Yes. We will use it. And any ideas that you have for this show, any topics that we haven't covered,
please. And comments. Tell us what you like, what you don't like.
Yes, please do tell us.
No, not what you don't like.
Yes, I want to know what they don't like.
Cindy likes to know everything. She's the spice of the group.
I am. Just tell me what you don't like.
Don't tell Miss Maria what you don't like. She'll go to your house and visit you. Because
I don't like Miss Cindy's Texas
She likes
accent.
Yes. So, we're going to continue to do this. It's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. There's people that I know who have, used it and share it with their kids. So it's a show that everyone can listen to. Everyone can listen to it. And we're going to continue to do it.
And we are getting feedback. We're getting feedback from our Spanish listeners. We're getting feedback from our English listeners too.
En español.
And I can tell you, from our Spanish listeners, some of the feedback that I'm getting is that, they're happy that they're able to play something positive, with their family. you know, where
yes.
where both parents are included and the kids can be there and just, you know, share the information and talk about the information that we're posting through these podcasts.
Yeah, there's a lot of edgy shows. There's a lot more of that cynical things like that. We can be that way, but with this show, we're just going to keep it kind of in the middle. We'll have fun with it. If you catch the other shows, we've had a lot of fun with them. We'll continue to do that, but you know, we want everybody to be able to listen to it. We don't want Grandma not to be able to listen to it because, you know, Miss Maria said something inappropriate, or you know, I'm kidding. We would never say anything inappropriate. So it's done on the podcast.
We need a producer and a van with the Real Podcast
yes,
of Dallas on it.
That's my
job.
job.
Somebody who's going to fund it so
Oh,
that
fund
we
it,
can,
yes.
so that we can
funding is good.
be mobile. And we can go to your
Yes.
schools, and we can go to your community events.
Keep talking, Cindy. Yes.
No,
Turn your
this
mic
is
up.
how you have visions and dreams, and this is
That's
how you
right.
put it out there. And, you know, we'll work with you to make you look good for funding us.
Yes.
Yes.
Imagine having a van that says the Real Podcast of Dallas.
And Leo would be the driver.
And we just show up to
I'll
school.
be the driver, and I'll set the equipment up, and yes, I'll do that.
Yeah.
No problem. Yes. I have a good driving record, by the way.
That's great.
I'm legit.
And we'll be doing something very similar on Wednesday, except we don't have the van with our logo on
We
it.
have a van. We can take a van.
But it doesn't have our logo on
You
it.
could spray paint it.
I like that idea. Let's spray paint. Yeah, we're gonna get in trouble. For spray painting, it's a joke. It's a
Okay,
joke.
what did you do?
We're not spray painting. We're not spray painting Mr. Leo's
We
truck.
could. No, I'm talking about
Or the van.
this place has a van.
I want our own van.
Yeah, we
Yes.
could do that. Yes.
We'll have our own van one day.
Yeah, that'd be really good. And we could do remote. That'd be excellent. Yes. So this podcast, it's growing and growing, and it's going to continue to grow. We're going to continue to do this, and it is the People's Podcast. So we're going to talk a little bit about self-esteem.
I love that topic.
Self-esteem. We've done other topics. By the way, if you go back and listen to all the other episodes, there's a theme in every one of them. It's not just this is calculated, Maria. This is the brains. This is science. By the way, we just make it look fun.
Yes.
You're actually going to learn something with these podcasts because you have intelligent people in the room.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And every
We're
podcast
qualified.
and every podcast is labeled.
Yes.
It's labeled.
Yeah,
So
the content in there's emotions, there's laughter, there's crying, it's all done on purpose, and they're missing it. There's a lot of people in the mental health that are trying to figure out how to get the message across, and we've done it.
And I think too, there's a lot of people out there who don't realize, that these emotions that they go through are very normal, and sometimes when we don't know how to deal with them, it's very difficult for us to understand. But I think the most important thing is for them to know that they're not alone. That we all
Right.
experience different emotions, and we all try to figure out the best way to handle those emotions.
Yes. So.
Oh my gosh, yes. I was thinking about this the other day because I used to say it all the time, and Leo will remember this, but I want you kids to know it too, that you don't know what you don't know.
Yes.
And that is one of my favorite things to say, is you don't know what you don't know. And you know what you don't know? You don't know that every one of your peers is worried and insecure.
Yes.
Yes.
Every one of them. Even those that seem like they've got it all together, super confident, super popular. That's not your age group.
Yes. And
It takes a lot of growing up to get comfortable in your skin.
Yeah, and which brings us to the topic of self-esteem, because